Came home after a secret weekend getaway with my side piece, and found my husband, parents, and best friend sitting in the living room. My husband held up a remote and said, "Before you say anything, let's watch this together." My stomach dropped as the screen lit up. I never thought a weekend away could destroy my entire life. I'm 38, married to Mark for 12 years. We live in a quiet suburb of Indianapolis, Indiana. Mark works in IT, and I teach high school English. We have 2 kids, ages 10 and 7. From the outside, we looked like the perfect family. But things weren't perfect. Mark and I had grown distant. Our conversations were mostly about the kids or bills. Intimacy was rare. I felt invisible. Then I reconnected with Jake, an old college friend, on Facebook. We started chatting, and it felt good to be noticed. Our messages turned flirty. I knew it was wrong, but I felt alive. We decided to meet in Chicago for a weekend. I told Mark I was attending a teacher's conference. He didn't question it. I met Jake, and for 2 days, I felt desired and happy. But guilt was always there, lurking. When I returned home Sunday evening, I noticed my parents' car in the driveway. Strange, since they rarely visited unannounced. I walked in and saw Mark, my parents, and my best friend, Lisa, sitting in the living room. The atmosphere was tense. Mark held up the TV remote and said, "Before you say anything, let's watch this together." My heart sank. He pressed play. The screen showed footage from our bedroom. It was me, packing lingerie and talking on the phone, saying things like, "I can't wait to see you." Then came footage from the hotel in Chicago, Jake and me entering, kissing in the elevator. Mark had hired a private investigator who followed me and recorded everything. I felt exposed and ashamed. After the video ended, silence filled the room. Tears streamed down my face. Mark looked at me, his eyes cold. "I wanted everyone to see the truth," he said. My parents were in shock. My mother cried, and my father looked away. Lisa couldn't meet my eyes. I tried to speak, to explain, but no words came out. Mark handed me a folder. Inside were divorce papers. He had already filed. He told me he would fight for full custody of the kids. I was devastated. It's been 6 months since that day. The divorce is finalized. Mark got custody, and I see the kids every other weekend. I've moved into a small apartment and started therapy. I lost everything because of a moment of weakness. I betrayed the people who loved me most. If I could turn back time, I would. But all I can do now is learn from my mistakes and try to rebuild my life. I didn't expect to hear from Mark again after the divorce. He was cold, distant, and clear that I wasn't welcome in his life anymore, just a time slot on the custody schedule. But 3 weeks after the papers were signed, he called me. His voice was calm but tense. He said, "We need to talk. Alone." I drove over that night. I stood at the same door I once called home, holding my breath. He opened it without a word and led me to the kitchen. Everything inside looked the same, except now it felt unfamiliar, like I didn't belong. He poured himself a drink. Didn't offer me one. Then he dropped the bomb. "I think Lisa knew." I blinked. "What?" "Lisa. Your best friend. I think she knew about you and Jake before I did." My stomach turned. "Why would you say that?" "She slipped up. Right before I hired the PI, she told me I should check your hotel charges. She knew about Chicago before I even suspected anything." I tried to process it. Lisa had been my best friend since college. She was at my wedding. She helped me pick out the damn dress. And now he was saying she'd known and didn't tell me? Or worse, played both sides. I confronted her, he continued. She didn't deny it. She just said she didn't want to get involved. I sat down. My legs felt weak. "She was supposed to be my best friend," I whispered. "She's not your friend," he said. "And she's not mine either." I went home that night spinning in a whole new storm. Betrayal layered on betrayal. Lisa had hugged me while I cried during the divorce. She texted me every day. I trusted her. I stopped answering her messages. A few days later, she showed up at my apartment. She knocked for 10 minutes. I didn't open the door. I couldn't. But it didn't stop there. 2 weeks later, I got a message from a number I didn't know. It was Jake. He hadn't contacted me since the weekend in Chicago. We had agreed to cut all contact. We were both married. He was supposed to disappear, but he didn't. The message was short. Just 2 words. "They know." My heart raced. I replied, "What do you mean?" He said his wife had found out. She had gone through his phone. She saw the pictures, the texts. He was kicked out. Now he was living with a friend in Springfield. Then he said something that chilled me. "She's talking to a lawyer. Said she might reach out to your husband." My hands were shaking. That was already over. Mark knew. What else could she possibly do? The answer came a few days later when a letter showed up in my mailbox. It was from her attorney. She was naming me in their divorce as a third party responsible for alienation of affection. Apparently, in Illinois, that's a thing. She wanted to sue me. I thought it couldn't get worse. I was wrong. One morning, while I was getting the kids ready to go back to Mark's, my daughter said something I'll never forget. "Daddy said you went to Chicago with your boyfriend instead of the conference." I froze. I crouched down. "Honey, why would Daddy say that?" She shrugged. "He said it when he was mad. I don't think he meant to say it out loud." I didn't know what to say. My kids were starting to hear things they shouldn't. I thought we were being careful. Clearly, we weren't. That night, I called Mark. "You told her?" I asked. It slipped out. I didn't mean for her to hear. You told me you wanted to shield them from this. I did, he said. But maybe they deserve to know the truth about who their mother is. That one cut deeper than all the rest. I hung up without saying another word. And just when I thought I could handle the weight of my own choices, another hit came. I got called into the principal's office at school. Someone had sent in an anonymous tip about my conduct outside of work. Apparently, a parent had found the Reddit post. The school board was reviewing the situation. I sat there, in that office, with the walls closing in, thinking, how far is this going to go? How much more can I lose? Because somehow, it still felt like the worst part hadn't even happened yet. 2 weeks passed with no word from the school board, but the silence was louder than any verdict. Every time the principal walked by my classroom, I felt a cold sweat crawl up my neck. I taught Macbeth with a fake smile and shaky voice, wondering if this would be my last time in front of a class. Then, on a Friday afternoon, just as the final bell rang, the principal asked me to come in. I was ready for the worst. But what she said next blindsided me. We're not letting you go, she said. But we need to place you on temporary administrative leave until this is settled. Officially, it's a personal leave of absence. Unofficially, well, we're protecting ourselves. I nodded. I didn't cry. I couldn't afford to anymore. I packed up my things and walked out the side door, hoping no one would see me. The next morning, I woke up to 37 missed calls. All from Lisa. Then came the texts. One of them just said, you need to talk to Mark. It's about Jake. I didn't want to talk to Lisa. I didn't want her in my life anymore. But I called Mark. He didn't answer. I called again. This time he picked up, and his voice was like steel. I was wrong, he said. About Lisa. I didn't understand. What do you mean? She wasn't just covering for you. She was sleeping with Jake too. I sat down hard. What? She admitted it, he said. She told me last night. She said it started after you two reconnected online. He was flirting with both of you. She thought you were just talking. She didn't think you'd actually meet up. My throat went dry. And then, I asked. She said he played you both. He slept with her in January. Then again in March. And in April. He picked you. Chicago weekend. She thought you knew. That's why she didn't say anything. I didn't say a word. What was there to say? He's a manipulative bastard, Mark continued. But you still cheated. That's on you. Don't think this changes anything between us. Then he hung up. I just sat there, staring at the wall. Jake had used me. Used us. I was just a moment in his game. A few hours later, Lisa showed up again. This time, I opened the door. She looked rough. Pale. Her eyes were bloodshot. I need to talk, she said. I already know. No, she said quickly. You don't. There's more. She stepped inside without waiting and sat down on the couch like she used to. But everything had changed now. Jake recorded you. The hotel. The elevator. The room. He recorded all of it. My heart dropped. I thought he just got followed by the PI. No, she whispered. He told me he did it to protect himself. Said he was afraid you'd get too attached. That you'd go crazy and try to ruin his life. I covered my mouth. That's what he told me when I confronted him. He said he had videos of you. That if you ever came after him or tried to blackmail him, he had proof. I stood up. I didn't know until after, Lisa said. I swear. I confronted him after everything blew up. That's when he told me. Where are the videos? I asked. I don't know. But he said he backed them up. That was the moment I realized I wasn't just ashamed or divorced. I was exposed. Somewhere out there, a man I thought I loved had intimate footage of me. And I didn't know where it was or what he was capable of. I called a lawyer that afternoon. While we were talking about restraining orders and cease and desist letters, she asked me something I hadn't thought about. Was he recording without consent? Yes. Then you have a case. You could press charges. But that would mean dragging everything out into the open. I didn't know if I had the strength. My job was already hanging by a thread. My kids were already confused. My life already in pieces. I hung up the phone and stared at my reflection in the hallway mirror. I didn't recognize the woman looking back. Because I hadn't hit rock bottom yet. That came the next morning, when my daughter walked into the kitchen holding a tablet. Who's this guy, she asked. I turned. It was Jake. From a paused video. A screen recording on some gossip blog. They had leaked the footage. Blurred, but still recognizable. Still enough. Still mine. The blog post exploded. The video was out. Faces weren't shown clearly, but those who knew us didn't need clarity. It took 1 hour for a teacher at school to forward it to another. 3 hours for the PDA group chat to start buzzing. 6 hours before my principal called me again. We're putting you on indefinite leave, she said, not unkindly. You need to handle whatever this is. I couldn't breathe. I stared at my daughter's tablet, still open on the counter. Still paused on Jake's smirking face. She didn't know what she'd seen. She was confused. But she knew something was wrong. I turned it off and sat on the kitchen floor and cried until my throat was raw. Then I called Mark. No answer. I drove to his house. I didn't think. I just went. He opened the door, eyes sharp and cold, and I didn't get a word in before he spoke. You think I wanted my kids to see that? It wasn't supposed to go public, but it did. And now they know what kind of person their mother is. His voice was loud. The kind that made the neighbors peek through blinds. Mark, please. It wasn't just me. Jake. He recorded everything. Without telling me. Oh, so now you're the victim? He laughed, but there was no humor in it. Just fury. Grief. I lost everything too. I snapped. I lost my job, my reputation, my best friend. My kids barely look at me. And now this damn video is out there forever. He stepped toward me. You lost your family. And that's on you. You destroyed that the moment you stepped into that hotel. Tears streamed down my face. I was lonely, Mark. I felt invisible. I needed to feel like I mattered to someone. I made a mistake. No, I made several. But don't act like you were perfect either. You shut me out. We stopped being partners. That cracked something. I saw it in his face. For a moment, his jaw softened. His shoulders dropped just a little. Then he whispered, "Why didn't you just tell me you were unhappy?" I didn't have an answer. Because I didn't want to admit how broken we'd become. I thought pretending was easier. A voice interrupted us. It was Lisa. She was walking up the driveway, holding a phone, tears in her eyes. "I know where the files are." We both turned. "What?" I said. "Jake's backup drive. He told me once, when he was drunk. It's in a storage unit. He has everything saved there. Not just yours, other women too." Mark looked at me. "You want justice?" Lisa asked. "Let's take him down." We did. We filed a police report. Lisa gave her statement. Jake was arrested 2 weeks later for violating recording laws in multiple states. It turned out he had done this to more than just me. A lot more. The fallout was fast and brutal. Jake's wife filed for divorce. Charges piled up. The blog that shared the video issued a takedown and apology after legal threats. But the damage was already done. My school never rehired me. My parents stopped calling. Said they needed space. Lisa moved away. Said she needed a new start. And Mark? He let me see the kids. But only through court-approved supervision. He didn't trust me. I didn't blame him. I spent that summer alone. Counseling twice a week. Reading. Sleeping too much. Thinking too much. Crying in the middle of grocery stores and pretending it was allergies. One night, sitting on the edge of my bed, I looked through old photos of Mark and me. We were smiling, laughing, dancing. I remembered that version of us and mourned her like a death. I texted him, months later, not to win him back, just to say thank you for protecting the kids, for being stronger than me, for handling the fallout with more grace than I ever could have. He replied the next day, "I still hate what you did, but I'm not angry anymore. Just tired. I hope you're doing okay." That was all. I still don't know what happens next. Maybe I'll teach again. Maybe I'll never feel clean again. Maybe one day my kids will forgive me. Maybe they won't. But I wake up every day. I get dressed. I breathe. I try. I'm not healed. But I'm here. And for now, that's enough.